Alright guys, I'm coming to you. I have the perfect video that I'm ready to share. As promised, it is a Pokemon video. And after many ups and downs of going through different Pokemon games that I felt like on the DS-ROM were good, I end up going with, because one, I've already played all these games, but, well, except for the one I did play. I already played all these games, so when it came down to it, Heart, Gold, and Soul Silver was going to be the playthrough. And then, I end up going, well, what about Pokemon Mystery Dungeon? And when I say I also wanted this to be a new experience, I end up going with Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of the Sky because I didn't even know that that was a game. And it just looked better than the rest. And if I also had to say, it was very colorful. That's what drew me in. From there, I have to say visually, and I have to say the story, the characters, the plot, what's going down. From there, it dragged. And what really was the customization in the beginning. The customization is OP. I mean, it is down to where I wanted Sims 2 to be as far as customizing myself. And it was literally much better than playing any of the games where the intro, you have the intro as the trainer, you get to pick a boy or girl, name yourself, and the professor or whomever takes you through the process of telling you what Pokemon are, and you usually are in this small town coming up. It was like that, but different. I mean, these Pokemon know a lot more, obviously, than us, and they know a lot more about their world than ours. So the best part of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon for me was becoming a fucking Pokemon. I mean, I think adults and children need to play this goddamn game. It was the dungeon calm down that I needed. And even though the characters on surface are sissies, it really got better. It developed. And like I said, visually, just stunning. I mean, the storytelling is on point. I mean, it's really where I would have wanted my childhood of gaming with Pokemon versus, you know, like Pokemon Go, you know, you have these kids that come in and they've never played a 1999 Pokemon game. And they've never also experienced Pokemon on the Game Boy before it was Game Boy Color. And then you have Americans that have never experienced the arcade version truly of Pokemon that was out, you know, in Japan before it was in America. So playing this game, I just literally was like, no, this is the perfect Pokemon game for every generation that's never played Pokemon to play Pokemon. Whereas, you know, Pokemon Go is kind of like one of those games where, like, for example, living here in New York, we play Pokemon Go when we would go and sit at the parks and we would face gym leaders and stuff like that together with other people in the park. And you really be like, who's on their phone? Because you don't know who's actually playing, but we're like, damn, it's a lot of people on. I mean, here in the North, they are on Pokemon Go. But when we was in the South, we played Pokemon Go, and you know, we was at a park. I was pregnant with our first child, and we were walking around, and not that many people were playing Pokemon Go, and they were all looking at us like, what are you doing with your phone? We're catching Pokemon, damn it. But besides all that, this is one of those games where if you, no matter where you are, this is a really good game to sit down to get into. You're going to want to actually read the dialogue because it is important in the purpose of the story. Whereas you can get a lot lost in the older trainer games, you can get lost in the story because there's so many towns where parts of, you know, they'll take you from Johto to Kanto region, and it's like there's a lot to take in. And with this game, there is a lot to take in with the market. You have places that will be built as you're leveling. You have to get your rank up for your exploration team, get in good with the guild, finish out the storyline for the guild, figure out the purpose of the crystals. And the cool thing is you actually get to play alongside legendary characters this time, and you get to see how they think. In the beginning of the process, of course, you know, you don't have like true choice over your main, but you do get choice over your partner. And that can lead to a really good duo when it comes into dungeons. So depending on who you pick, I wouldn't say it doesn't matter, but depending on what types you get, just try to reflect what that weakness is to that type and pick the type that would be stronger to defend that type in a fight. As far as items go, I mean, the sky is literally the limit with this game. There are so many items that you're going to be looking at that sometimes you're not going to know what to pick up and put. There is, of course, in the market a storage system at Kangaskhan that you can go to, and you can put all your storage in before you go back to a dungeon. I will say that the consequences are steep in this game if you do die, or if somebody in your party dies that is of importance, which can also be a non-member of your party that's particularly weak, and certain outlaws and stuff will target during a fight because they have lower health. You just have to basically have not only level up, train, and have a team that can take on all types of Pokemon. When you're in a dungeon, one of the coolest things about it, other than, you know, being able to actually see a team member follow you around, just like, you know, certain Pokemon games implemented behind the trainer, you can also see other team members that you contract on while you're in a dungeon. So if you're fighting a particular Pokemon, I'm looking for a Mariweep or some type of evolution of a Mariweep, which is an electric Pokemon, but instead I got an Electakid, which I will opt for an Electakid. We all know the 2000 era, the true Pokemon 2000 era, like when shit really started up for us. I mean, and that's why I say that this game is probably the best to play if you've never played any of them and you want to be introduced to every Pokemon, because it has a Pokemon from every generation, including the last. Dungeons can be a bit repetitive, but you will end up, like I said, getting those items that will help you. Also, there's going to be, when you get to a certain point in the game, there's going to be vendors and trapdoor vendors within the dungeon. There's also going to be trapdoors like poisons, sleep stuff. You just have to be careful when you're, I want to say the desert and in a certain cave, probably Crystal Cave. It is expected for higher level areas to have traps. And that's another thing. Outlaws can also jump you and set up traps. There's usually going to be like sometimes 10 to 20 plus Pokemon that you have to fight during an outlaw battle. But your goal should be to take out the outlaw, because once you take out the outlaw, you can escape the dungeon, come back, and do what you need to do. So don't risk it. If your health is low, you can save yourself, because like I said, those consequences are steep. If you die, you lose money, you lose items. It's just not cool. Which reminds me, save every single time. It gives you an option to save. I find that sometimes I'm tired playing this game. Do not get tired playing this game, because if it's on DS-ROM like it is, it might not save. So save every single time to avoid any type of issues. Take on the jobs that you can do. You do not have to take on every single job, but if ranking up really fast is your thing, then take on every single job. But take on regular jobs and take on outlaw jobs, and you'll find yourself progressing through the story at a pretty decent rate. And I can't believe that I forgot to say this, but guys, if you like these kind of videos, if you like Pokemon, or if you like gaming content, you like DS-ROM content, free video games, or playing video games and doing natural hacks through the video game, please follow my page. I'm the Mouse of Ink. You can follow me across all platforms. Hashtag Mouse of Ink on TikTok. We're almost at 200,000 views on our hashtag alone. Instagram is really where I'm popping. I'm a tattoo artist, so all my stuff, my entire portfolio is on Instagram. That's the Mouse of Ink 13. Please pop in, give me a follow on social media across the platforms. I follow back. And like, share, subscribe, leave a comment here on this channel. Let me know what your favorite Pokemon game is. If you've played Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, if you like it, and any tips and tricks that you have for me. Because how I like to do certain games is I like to not look up the ending, so that I'm just as surprised, as anybody else playing it. And sometimes I also, like for this DS-ROM that I'm using, this is a free iOS version of it. So I'm not using any cheats. I'm just regularly leveling, regularly doing all this, and doing it pretty fast. This is like my third day playing the game, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm happy that I picked it out instead of going back, and because I did, like I said, I went back and played Soul Silver for the third time now on DS-ROM, and I was just like, this game is just so massive. It's like 6-7 hours of straightforward gameplay if you really scripted it through. I mean, this alone was an entire day of gameplay. I think I'm at 11 hours of gameplay that I just bobbled down into this video to share with you guys and tell you a good game to play in 2024 that's free, that you can play on your phone. I mean, if you have Android, I know you guys have mad hacks. I mean, if you've paid for the DS-ROM application instead of doing a free one, I know you have cheats and hacks. You don't even need this video. But this is for that light gamer that you are just trying to figure out what game that you should play right now, and it's free, and you just want to take your mind off of some stuff. You got to ride on the train, and you got to ride on the bus or whatever to work. This is the perfect game to play in 2024 to take your mind off of things. I mean, a lot is fucking going on right now. So I really appreciate you guys for popping in. Thank you so much. Don't forget to leave that like. Don't click that subscribe button. We just got to get to 100 subscribers, and you're really gonna like my next video because I'm going in mad detail on Sims 4, guys. I've already started playing it. My character's about to die. I've aged her somehow, crazy. So I'll see you guys soon. Thank you.